Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to take a look at the bundle for Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms for Magic the Gathering. It comes with 10 draft boosters. On the back it says, every game is a new campaign. The crossover you've been waiting for is finally here. The heroes and monsters of the Forgotten Realms have ventured into magic. These packs contain iconic characters from Dungeons & Dragons ready to join your favorite deck. While your path may be fraught with peril, magnificent rewards await you at its end. It includes an alt art traditional foil treasure chest card, 10 15 card Adventures in the Forgotten Realms draft boosters, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms card box, 20 traditional foil and 20 regular basic lands, 3 oversized dungeon cards, and a special oversized D20 plus 2 reference cards. This is a slightly better bundle than average according to the back, just because it includes these 3 oversized dungeon cards. Now, one of the things I've been harping on these bundles for the longest time is that they really need to include all the extra stuff that you might need to play a given set. And so for me, that is stuff like these dungeon cards, but also like a complete set of tokens, so that when you want to play Magic with some packs, like when you're playing Limited, then you will have all the tokens that you need, and as well as a complete set of lands. Now, this says you get 40 lands, and 40 lands is not enough to draft. It's, I don't think, even enough for 2 players to go at it, because 40 lands means you get 8 of each particular land type, and that's just not going to be enough for 2 players unless they really deliberately choose different color decks when they're playing sealed, for example. And so ideally this would contain like 100 lands, even better like 180, so you could fill a whole draft with it, and a full set of tokens. The special oversized D20 here is useful because there is rolling of D20s and other dice in this particular set. I would actually prefer including a whole set of role-playing dice, because you need to roll everything from D4s all the way to D20s in this particular set. But that is what we have on the outside. Let's take a look at the actual contents. Alright. Not previously advertised, and generally not advertised, is this box. It's just a Planeswalker symbol box that you can use to store whatever you want inside. It's not really sized well for decks or much more than like random accoutrement. I put dice in here. Sometimes I put like random card packs or something like that temporarily as temporary storage, but oftentimes these things end up in the recycling bin. Still, it's better than having nothing, so that's at least one small perk here. You also have in this inside of this is some artwork, and so you have Adventures of the Forgotten Realms artwork, some Planeswalker symbols and stuff like that on the inside. So if you want to open this up, you can just put it on your wall as a kind of a mini poster of sorts. This one is interesting because there is, looks like there's some kind of fold out here. And so, yeah. Oh, there's a one sheet in here which has information about learning about a D&D campaign at MTG Story. So I think that that's probably not available anymore, because I think they did some sort of revamp with the website. But it was nice that they provided a D&D campaign just for free. And this is a nice extra piece of art, I guess. So you have the inside, you have this, and extra art on the inside here that could be a poster or something. This is your oversized dungeons. Card back uses the yellow Magic logo. This is obviously not going to be real Magic cards, but it is nice to have these oversized dungeon cards. I think that getting the dungeon cards in the packs as your tip card or your ad card is all fine and good. This is a lot bigger, so it's easier to read. You can put dice on it more easily to see where you're at, or whatever counters that you might use to track where you are in any given dungeon. So it's nice to have these in a large format. Having even more of them would be great, because then you can hand them out to people, but still, this is very nice. This is the box. As you can see, the dragon's head has become the Planeswalker symbol for this particular set. I like that it's here. I just wish that it was here so that you can look at the side of the box and tell what set it's from. This is something that continues to bother me about these boxes that they offer, because yeah, you can look at the top of the box, but sometimes this is on your bookshelf looking this way, and unless you've memorized what kind of artwork they use for each side, you're not going to be able to tell. If you look at this and be like, oh, what is this? Prismatic dragon scales? Maybe you might remember that, but you might just see this and be like, I have no idea what this is. I have to pull this off the shelf. Look at the side. I don't know. Look at the top. Oh, finally there's something here. So I think the box design needs a little bit of work in terms of putting something here so that you know what it is that is inside this box without having to pull it off your shelf. So that is a bit of box design that needs work. They still have this diagonal cut, which I think is good because it makes it easy to hold the bottom and pull off the top. They still have this cardboard thing on the inside, so that is, it comes off, and I don't know if it's just a spacer or it's actually supposed to be there, because it does use that black cardboard. And so I've been throwing them out just because I think that this can probably nick cards and damage them, but that's there in case somebody wants to keep that or finds that important. This is the D20 that is included. It has the Dungeons and Dragons symbols. It's big and chunky, and it's pretty legible. I like that the silver on the red is pretty legible, and it rolls, you know, just fine as far as D20s are concerned. And you might also note that this is an actual D20, not a spin down, and so you'll see that you can't really spin this down. This is the 20 right here, and the 1 is on the opposite side. All the other numbers are on the opposites. That makes this like a less manipulable die when you roll it, because you can't like put it on 8 and know that, oh, the 16 is going to be somewhere around here or something. Like maybe you'll memorize this and be able to, you know, manipulate and cheat that way, but it's harder to do so, and so this is a better die for rolling. The one thing I will say about this, as I mentioned earlier, is that it would be better if there were more of these dice in here, because you actually need to roll all sorts of dice for this particular set, and so having a full set of die in here would be really good, or at least giving you some means of rolling all the dice that you need. There's 10 packs. All the artwork is the same for Adventures in Forgotten Realms, so you don't have to worry about having all sorts of different arts. Here are your 2 reference cards. You get what to do on your turn, which is always useful for new players. Popular Magic formats, which is never useful for people who know what they're doing. But if you're buying one of these, you could be the kind of person that doesn't really know about the different kinds of formats. But I feel like this is one of the least useful bits. The how to cast spells and the attacking and blocking, this is very useful. And so I think this or this should be on the other side of the on the turns thing. And then, you know, popular Magic formats maybe, you know, relegated to another reference card. But this is only useful if you are new to Magic the Gathering and you don't have anyone, you know, helping you at all times. So these are of negligible value overall. And let's take a look at our packs here. We have one that is all foil, and as you can see, it's already starting to bend here, and one that is standard. Here's the treasure chest, which is an alternate art treasure chest. I don't like these alternate art inclusions because usually the cards that they include are also fairly low value. I mean, they can't put something super high value, otherwise all the bundles will be picked up and then resold for just this card. But I feel like, why put an alternate art card of somewhat useless card in here? Because it's not that great of a perk for people who want to supplement their purchases into any given set. As I said before, having more lands, like 100 lands, 180 lands, like a good large number of lands, is always more useful, because then you can, when you're building a Forgotten Realms deck, have all the lands that match it. But if you only have 20, then even if you're building a standard deck or whatever, unless you like really dial down on low mana count and have 2 colors or whatever it might be, you're going to need more lands, and then there's no other viable way of buying lands other than from single sellers, and that's just like overcosted. And so you're stuck with less lands, or not being able to have all your lands match the deck that you're building if you want to build an all Forgotten Realms deck, or if you're doing a draft pod and you want everybody to have Forgotten Realms lands. And so I wish that Wizards had another way to get lands, or they just put the lands back in here. Forget about the foil stuff, because look at this. They're all bent. Like, who wants all sorts of bent lands? Anyway, rant aside. Artwork for these lands are pretty good. The foiling is okay, aside from the curved shape that it gives all of your cards that, you know, can mark them even in a sleeved deck, and so not a fan of foils in general, especially when you are not getting as many cards as a result of them throwing in, foils, which don't really cost them that much more. And here's the thing about foiling. Like, when you compare the foiled versus the non-foiled, I think that the non-foiled version is actually a better representation of the art, because this is like foiling that kind of just goes all over the place, and I don't think it is really attentive to what the artwork is supposed to look like. And so I'm not sure that it feels especially fun to look at it compared to the other art. Sometimes it looks really nice, like this one. The skyline being all kind of foiled is nice, and then the foiling kind of hides behind this rock, and so that's kind of nice. But generally, like, I'm not really that much of a fan of Magic's general foils. And that is my thoughts about this particular product. I think the bundles have, gone downhill in general, and they still continue to go downhill, but occasionally they'll throw in at least some good things, like these oversized dungeon cards. And I just wish that the bundles could really retune themselves to be here's everything you need to play Magic for this particular set, and that would be great. I really wish that could be the case for what the bundle is, but as it is, this is a marginal product, and I don't think it's necessary for anybody, which is kind of too bad. I wish it was kind of an essential product that you want to pick up with every set. But that is my general thoughts about the bundle. Let me know if you have any other thoughts about these bundles, especially the Forgotten Realms bundle, as it were. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.